Are you paying attention, Canada? Or anyone else that's going to watch this video? Are you paying attention to the fucking... Look at the narratives being put forth by the opinion makers, the propagandists, and the central planners in all of our countries. I mean, just look at it. And I mean, what we're talking about right now is the narrative that's this whole thing with the oil in Russia and Saudi Arabia and Qatar and all these, some of these OPEC countries supposedly, if you just read the propagandist narrative, is if they've all agreed, right, to freeze output. So therefore, by the magic of freezing output at January levels, well, look, oil prices should now go really, really high. And the propagandists, the narrative makers, the central planners are like, woohoo, baby. Yeah, look at that. Higher oil prices. Isn't that awesome? You know why that is, right? Well, if you don't, I can understand, because I mean, you have to really be in the know. You have to have a very critical mind, and you have to be willing to put in the hours and hours and hours every day to analyze this and weed through all this bullshit. So if you don't, have no fear. People like myself are here because we've done all that work for you, and I'm doing it on a daily basis still. So I'll explain to you. A lot of the pension funds, the sovereign debts, the mega corporation, all of this speculative wealth that is baked in the cake of these centrally planned countries relies on being able to centrally plan and manipulate prices of all of our commodities and products and services so that they can steal at any time they want. I mean, just think about it, Ken. Listen, if you're not totally understanding all the rhetoric that's being spewed, I get that. And I feel sorry for you. But that's why I'm here. I'm trying to help you out. But I mean, surely you must understand. I mean, they're basically admitting that they need the cartel and other nations, right? Other tax firms. They need everybody to come together and agree to fix their production levels so that they can increase the price. I mean, however which way, whatever your political propagandist that you follow, whether it's, from the fucking conservative side in the media or the liberal side or wherever it is, they're all going to try to spin their own particular form of that narrative. But really what they're all basically saying is we need more central planning, more mysticism, more bullshit, more central, think of it, manipulation. We need to do all this stuff for why? Why are they so panicked? Why do they want to? Think about it. Why would anyone want the price of any product or commodity to be retardedly high when you have such a glut of that product? Think about it. It's because they have to be able to steal in large amounts to be able to keep their system going, to sustain this central planning bullshit. These central planning initiatives rely on such levels of, waste. That's the thing too. Lefties are always about, wasteful this and wasteful that, and stop fucking falling for governments. Your lefty governments, what you think, liberal and all these fucks, they don't do the same thing? Their entire business model relies on theft. All government business models, well, it's not really a business, it's a fictional entity, but they rely on being able to steal. So, of course, they need higher elevated price for these corporations so they can steal even more. But the corporates are like, because the government's going to steal more from us, well, we want to make more higher profits because we have this much. The logic, don't you get dizzy? Anyone that pays attention, you have to. Which is why, if you actually pay any attention to the news or the propaganda spewed on a daily basis, I have no doubt that path is going to, and it's not that they're going to want you to go that way, but that path is ultimately going to lead you to understand that you're going to have to come to people like myself, because it's the only truth you're ever going to get. Right? In this sea of bullshit, only truth that you are ever going to get are from people with objective logic and reasoning that aren't looking to control, manipulate, or dominate you. That's the only people that are going to tell you the truth in this environment. But yet you see not just the lefties, but the righties. Think about it. They both equally, for the most part, hate on liberty lovers and libertarians, anarchists, voluntarists. I wonder why that is. Central planners from both sides of the political spectrum hate libertarians. That seems weird, no? I wonder why that could possibly be. Could it be that libertarians are basically the only people out there that you will ever hear? Because I pay attention. I'm in the know, as you know. I pay attention to this stuff. But think about it. The only people that are willing to tell you honest, unbiased truth are people like myself that have no vested interest in the Ponzi schemes or games that they're playing. That's what it comes down to. Of course, all the people that are trying to play you off and steal from you, they have invested interest. So they're going to try their hardest to propagate their narratives, their message. Me, I'll just sit back and let them all do all that shit, and I'll point at, look, liar, 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 liar. It's actually easy as hell because, I mean, they make it. But that's how emboldened they are at this stage of the game. They know that the system is so close to that precipice, to that edge, that they're like, we got to do everything. I mean, war would be next. War is going to be the ultimate outcome. If they don't get their way through propaganda, printing money, if all else fails, the last tool in their arsenal, the last weapon in their arsenal is war. I'm saying their arsenal is completely reliant on you believing in their legitimate authority. So what I'm saying is they actually have, there's no more arrows left in the quill or whatever you call it, right? They want to pull out the magic one. I'm saying don't believe in that magic, and that arrow has no power. It can't penetrate your skin. It can't harm you. It can't injure you. It can't do anything. You just got to stop believing in the fact that they pretend to have this magical arrow, right? That they can shoot off at will. Call their bluff. Say, hey, shoot that arrow off. See what happens. Then you'll realize. Then the mysticism of government ceases to exist. It's a fictional concept. These central planners of all of these countries, and that's the other thing too. I mean, Canada talks out one. I mean, the political propaganda. It's not Canada. We know the difference, but I'm talking about when I say that, I mean the government, the central planners, the collectivists in this country. On one hand, they hate the Saudis for being. I mean, think about the women in Canada, the political propagandists in the government that talk about women's rights. How they can show any solidarity with these people is beyond me, but see, that's the thing. They're all willing to compromise and negate completely their own self-described principles if it means benefiting themselves. That's how intrinsically evil these people are. They talk out one side of their mouth, and while you're paying attention to, while we're talking about this side of their mouth, they're out on the other side. They're just lying to you and reaching around behind into your back pocket and stealing from you at will. If you catch them, if you start to look, they'll pretend that at that time they'll say, "Oh no, I wasn't taking your money. Look, I was just stroking your back, your lower back. Actually, I was down there. Do you have pain? Do you have lower back pain? I was just trying to soothe you." And most people are like, well, since you said that, the power of indoctrination. I've watched it. I've seen how that unfolds. I was actually, for a very short time in my life, in my younger years, I fell for that. I did. I admit, yep. I had religious zealots in my life and status. And yeah, when I was younger and had all that force jammed down my throat, it was hard for me to fight all that because I was just one small child inundated with this propaganda coming from all sides, right? So yeah, for a short time, I felt I should just bow down and conform. Fortunately, my balls dropped. I became a man. My intellect expanded, and I realized, wait a minute. Nah. I should think for myself. I should use objective reasoning, logic, scientific premises and bases to determine truth from fiction. First principles, all these things. And there are people out there that will tell you and explain to you. They'll give you the formula and equation. All you have to use. They won't jam it down your throat. They'll just tell you 2 + 2 is 4. And they will outline how that equation works out and how it's completely non-contradictory and universal. Now, you can try to deny that reality as much as you want, but the information is there and available. The information right now in the internet age, in the information age, is out there and available. If you still keep falling for propagandist narratives put forth by your central planners and media propagandists, well, that's your own damn fault. That's your own stupidity. Step outside the box, step outside the bounds of the central planning narrative that's jammed in your head, and you'll realize the truth behind what they're really propagating. Be wise, be wary. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.